MASMC scholarship award to one of our students. First, I see Mr. Chambers here, family member of one of the deceased, honoring this morning. When we look at the time period of desegregation and the struggles, there were a lot of unsung heroes and a lot of, heroes and sheroes. And this morning, the Board of Supervisors is honoring one of those individuals posthumously, and that is Ms. Melba Sue Chambers Brown, who also was a classmate during the desegregation of our public schools. Here this morning to accept the resolution is Mr. Milton Chambers. Melba Sue passed early on, and Melba, along with about 11 other Jim Hill students, were among the first to integrate our public school system. Melba Sue enrolled at Provine High School during her senior year. And I must say, a lot of the senior students that chose to relocate to other schools during that time period sacrificed a lot, because it is a big deal for seniors to graduate from their mother. But during her senior year, because of the enactment of the law to integrate public schools, Melba chose to attend Provine High School. Again, she was one of 11 from African American students from Virginia High School to venture into that field, and most certainly that was a major challenge for her. I'm sure those were very difficult times for her, but in God's grace, she persevered, and she proudly graduated from Provine High School. And I was telling you what year it was. It was good. But anyway, Mrs. Smith. Mr. Chambers, will you come forward, please, so that we can present this resolution to you? Mr. Milton Chambers is a member of our Hinds County, of our Hinds Development Authority. He's a trustee of our Hinds Development Authority. And I must say, he's one of our newest members, and they say he's doing an excellent job.
Is that right? He must be representing District West.
On behalf of my family, I humbly accept this recognition of my sister. She was certainly a very big influence in my life and others. And the challenge is to carry on. And I know I try to do that each and every day. And I work with my parents. So many things. So this is a very touching and proud moment for me. And it's also just a very deep satisfaction that I feel when I can come here at the Hinds County Board of Supervisors. So I'm not quite as old as my sister, but I remember those times. And I remember the things that black people were not allowed to do. And to come here today and see this board running the affairs of this county knows that my sister and so many others work is not in vain.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's give him a hand.
Mr. President, I must say say, as handsome as Mr. Chandler's look, his sister was just beautiful, very smart, and very, very talented. He would agree with me. Yes, Mr. President, I so move.
Okay, it's been moved.
Second.
Proper second discussion on the resolution on Mrs. Brown.
No, Sue Chambers.
Cameron Brown, right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Okay, you have someone.
Mr. President, this next resolution that I have here, resolution, goes to a young lady that I think should be receiving a lifetime award for her volunteerism. And that is Ms. Minnie Watson White. Ms. White has always placed her great talents at the service of the community, organizations, and practically everybody. You see Ms. White all over the place, just volunteering her time. Ms. White was a graduate of the J.P. Barnum Campbell Junior College and Jackson State College. And she's currently employed at Tubman College. Ms. White, as I said, is involved in so many different organizations. But I'm going to, and she's a part of the Georgetown community. And I think practically everybody in this room knows something about Georgetown community. How that community bands together to preserve the character of the community. They band together to fight crime. Whatever it takes to make Georgetown a good community. Ms. White and the members of her association are always there working together. But I'm going to mention one thing that is significant about, well, all the things are very significant. It's a lot. I mean, I have 3 pages of accomplishments of Ms. White. But Mrs. White's service and humanitarianism has extended beyond the shores of the North American continent through her membership with the Educators United for Global Awareness. And the EUGA was designed to assist students in South Africa who wanted desperately to attend college but could not afford to. Again, this morning, Mr. President, the Hinds County Board of Supervisors honors and commends Mrs. Minnie Watson White for her accomplishment in our community as a humanitarian. Ms. White, will you come forward, please?
Yes, I am.
Okay,
sorry.
good.
Yes, I am.
So, yes, she is curator.
For the Meg Evans Museum. Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you very much, and we certainly appreciate you. Now, another motion, Ms. Kelly?
Yes, and I hope I don't.
No, I mean on this.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, it's been moved.
Second.
Second discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Okay, now, the next one is
Every year, the Mississippi Association of Supervisors, the Minority Caucus, awards 2 young people a scholarship for their college education in the amount of $1,000. This morning we have a student from Hinds County that has been awarded $1,000. Is there a representative from the Butler family? The student is, oh, there, okay, I kept looking for it. Is Simeon Banyan Butler. Mr. Butler, will you come forward, please?
To the board supervisor, my name is Simeon Banger Butler. I go to Earl High School, and I graduated class of 11. I be attending Alcorn State University, majoring in chemistry, pre-pharmacy. I'm currently a part of this program called Base Pair, which I go and work with mentors at the university every morning, which I to be there now. And I work in the lab with different doctors, and I do research on rats and different stuff, and try to help the community and further medicine. So I thank you for this award. I will surely need it. Thank you.
Mr. Butler won that award by writing an essay. In the essay there was why he likes living in Hinds County.
Right. That's great. Would also introduce your, is that your mother?
This is my mom, the one Faye Butler.
Okay. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Excuse me.
Congratulations, son, and really hope you're the best. We really appreciate seeing young folks. Although we can give some other folks now, if you need some other, what you call them, you say you work on raps. Thank you very much.
But Supervisor Smith is saying he volunteered.
No, I thank you very much. Okay, we'll move on. Mr. Davis.
Well, next on the agenda, the first item is unclaimed funds for your consideration today.
Okay. All right.
Next will be Mr. Daniels, inmate medical facilitator, risk management consultant, one item for your consideration.
Good morning, members of the board.
Morning.
And I'm happy to report that I was not on the unclaimed bodies list last time. I actually had just forgotten that I had something on the agenda. I guess it is a chronic situation when you know you're having too many things to do, and you find out that I had gotten a phone call to place this item on the agenda, and after doing so, I didn't think about it, not nary a time. What we have here is a vehicle that was involved in an accident. It was not the fault of the Hinds County employee who was driving the vehicle. And the insuring company, Southern Farm Bureau Casualty Insurance Company, has offered to settle the claim by paying the total amount and value of the vehicle, less a salvage deduction so that we may keep the vehicle. And so the net amount being paid to the county is $3,132.75. And so I would ask that you would settle the claim today.
Okay. Let's bring it forward.
So
Good move. Second move, proper second discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried.
And thank you. And Mr. President, just as a point of personal privilege, if you would allow, since I was before you today, I went ahead and gave you the monthly report on inmate medical so that you will see the figures as we are going. We are still doing very well. We are thankfully to the discounts that we have been discussing every month here for the budget year. these discounts are continuing to save the county tremendously. For the month of May, we had total charges of $613,000 in inmate medical expense, inpatient and outpatient treatment at the hospital. And once the charges were taken off that were disallowed, and also due to the discount, we actually paid just under $100,000. That is a tremendous savings. And so I'm happy to say that in our last budget submission for the coming year, we projected that hopefully we can see a savings of at least $500,000 in the upcoming budget year. We should, right now, we should have, if we were right on budget, we should be at 60% of the budget. Actually, we're just under that at 64%, and that includes some months that we paid out without the large deductions that we're having now. And I also want to point out, too, that pharmacy has been declining. If you will look on the second page, you will see that for the month of May, pharmacy expense went down again to $39,357. That is quite a decrease from the high in February of $82,451. And we attribute that just to a lot of good hard work on behalf of a lot of people.
You all have,
Let's keep our fingers crossed.
I appreciate you all, and if I could ever be in service, you know how to reach me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for this report. All right. Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Next item will be on the personnel matters. However, there's none for your consideration today. Then we'll go to Mr. Clarence Williams, Director of Human Capital Development, with items for your consideration.
I have three items for your consideration. First is to approve and authorize submission of a grant to the U.S. Department of Justice, Office of Justice Program, Bureau of Justice Assistance. This grant will allow for the development of a Second Chance Act reentry program for adult offenders with co-occurring substance abuse and mental health disorders. The Second Chance Act helps to ensure that the transition of the individuals make from prison, jail, or juvenile residence facilities back to the community is successful and promotes public safety. The maximum grant amount is up to $600,000 with a 24-month grant period. There is no requirement.
Okay. Yes, probably you running that program. Sheriff.
No, this is actually done in the courts.
Under the court. Oh, okay. Okay. What's the pleasure, board?
So moved.
It's been moved. Do we have a second? Our second. It's been moved. Proper second discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Okay. The next one.
Also, a motion to accept a grant in the amount of $51,544 from the Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality for the solid waste enforcement officer for unauthorized dump site cleanup and for public education programs.
Okay. What's the pleasure, board?
So moved.
It's been moved. We have a second. Our second. Moved, proper second discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
And also to accept a grant in the amount of $30,000 from the Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality for the Jackson State University Computer Recycling Program. And this is $10,000 more than we got.
$10 more.
$10,000 more.
Oh, yeah, 10,000. Okay. Okay, what's the pleasure, board?
So moved.
It's been moved. Do we have a second? I'll second. Moved, proper second discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Clerk. Yeah.
There are no items under purchasing today, and that will bring us to Ms. Littlewood, budget and finance report, and the items for your consideration.
Good morning, President Smith and members of the board. We have this, the inventory items for today. Mr. James Ingram will bring this.
I bring to the board 3 requests for approval. The first one is a request to transfer county assets within Hinds County.
Pleasure, the board.
So moved.
It's been moved. Do we have a second? I second. Moved, proper second, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Okay.
Second request to transfer county asset to a public bank vehicle.
Okay. Have a motion.
So moved.
It's been moved,
Second.
proper second, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Those items have been declared supplemental.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Okay.
And my third and final request is to sell county asset in a public auction.
Okay. We have a motion.
So moved.
It's been moved.
Second.
Second. I'll second. Move, proper second, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried. Okay.
Thanks, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Mr. President, the next item on the agenda is regarding a billing rate change for energy and agreement for services. This agreement would allow a discounted rate from our current billing status rate of GS, which is a general billing rate status that energy bills. We are proposing to change that to an IGS rate, a B rate, which would save us an estimation of $246 per month for our building at the Penal Farm, the new Penal Farm building. And so this will allow us to get a reduced rate on our energy bill and go into agreement for those services. I do have Mr. Lowe here from Energy. If you have any questions relative to this agreement and the reduction in our energy rate.
Well, ask him, what else can we do? to get a number reduction?
I'm working on that, trust me.
We need, did any of the board members want to ask? You said, Mr. Love,
Yes, sir.
any other questions?
So moved.
Okay, it's been moved.
Second.
Do we have a second? I'll second. Moved, properly second. Oh, I'm sorry. Moved, properly second, discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried.
Thank you.
Yield there.
All right, thank you. There are no emergency purchases to report. And under the insertions, we have 3 minute insertions. However, no action is required. That will conclude the items under common administration.
Okay. All right, the next item is Ms. Attorney.
Good morning, Mr. President and board members. I have for board's consideration items under tax matters. As you may recall, from the last board meeting, parcel number 585-164 was presented for a change in board's minutes which reflect 2008, 2009. The tax assessor's office assessed the value of the property as if the structure was on there. It had burned down by 2008. And the board approved the correction of that assessed value. And now, the owners have requested a refund of taxes paid during those years. This property is located in the Eastover subdivision, and therefore the refund for those tax years would be for 2008, $5,154.39, and for 2009, $8,026.39. And this is a total of $13,180.78 for your approval.
So you have research, we can go back to, what is that, 08, 808, no, that, we can go back for 2 years.
3 years.
years.
3 years.
Statutorily, you can go back 3 years.
Is it on Pattonwood Drive?
Let's see. I don't believe I have the physical address.
Because there were two that burned in that particular area, but I just didn't know if that was the one that you were talking about.
Actually, it's 2410 Eastover Drive.
Okay, put the play to vote.
So moved.
It's been moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Moved, proper second, discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion is carried.
Thank you. The next item I have for your consideration is the matter involving Mr. Gilsey. You recall, you heard the attorney come before the board to request waiver of penalties and interest with regard to some tax matters. And the board approved that waiver pending an opinion by the Attorney General's office. That original approval by the board was February 7, 2011. Request was sent to the Attorney General's office, and it was returned advising that the board could the opinion states, under the facts presented, if the board of supervisors determined that the mistake was not the taxpayer, but was made by the county, the tax assessor's office, and not ever having properly assessed the taxpayer, then the board would have the authority to forgive the penalties and interest on the accrued outgoing tax. So along with that item, the board does have authority to waive the penalties and interest. If you recall, this is the gentleman who made improvements to the old Coca-Cola plant.
But I was of the opinion that we made the motion pending.
Correct.
No, we don't have to.
You don't have to vote on it, but I'm just reporting back to the
Oh,
board
okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
that the Attorney General's office did in fact provide an opinion.
Okay.
And it can be included in the minutes. The next thing I have listed for the board's consideration is a 3.6 exemption from Milwaukee Tools. However, I have additional questions with regard to that matter, and I will have it for consideration in the board's next meeting. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Mr. Lewis?
Good morning, Mr. President, members of the board. The item that I have on the agenda this morning is basically not for action, it's just basically for informational purposes. This board has already authorized me to be the signee for any documents in relation to the rebanding activities that are going on in Hinds County. And what you have before you is items that were presented for signatures, the amendment that goes with the rebanding, and also change orders that were made requested due to the fact that this rebanding operation began in 2007. There was some changes that needed to be done as far as updating of what is existing and what is not existing in Hinds County. And basically, I just want to give you that information. The information that you have already been reviewed by the attorney's office, and it seems to be in order. So I just want to give you this for informational purposes.
So there, for all the significant, I guess would be the right word, significant changes in the order have been made.
Yes, those are the requests there, the changes that needs to be done. And basically, a lot of the information there is some of those exclusions, things that are not necessarily needed at this time due to the fact that some of the equipment, there was some replacements on some of the equipment that Hinds County needed that next year no longer have to pay for, such as the Gen White system. We purchased our own, so they excluded
What?
a gender watch system
Oh,
for
okay.
education, so they eliminated that as far as, it was on the original, payment for it, but that's one of the things that they eliminated.
Okay.
And also, they included the information as far as, those other cities that were part of it, they acknowledged those also in the,
Disconnect.
in the amendment, yes.
Is that, what's, you're talking about in item number 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else, that stands out that we need to be looking for?
Not necessarily, that's why I presented it to the board attorney's office, and, they reviewed it. It seems like everything was in order.
Okay.
All right?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It,
Good morning, Mr. President, and other board members. First item I have is approved to attend the 2011 APWA Mississippi Chapter Conference on October 25th to the 28th in Ocean Springs.
say board,
So,
it's been moved, do we have a second?
Second.
Move, second discussion, all in favor say aye.
aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Next item. Yes, correct. Next item I have is request approved to advertise for executive assistant senior. Effective July 1st, 2011, the funds for this position are allocated in the Public Works Department's budget.
Is that a new one?
We have a person retiring.
I'm sorry.
We have a person retiring.
Oh, okay, okay. Let's break the vote.
So,
Been moved, do we have a second?
Second.
Been moved by second discussion, all in favor say aye.
aye.
Opposed, motion carried.
Next item is acceptance and approval of the equipment bid. Public Works.
Okay.
So moved.